How's everybody doing today? So we had a request on the live stream the other night to how we kind of strengthen our stones for cutting. I personally use Opticon, and the question was what process do we use whenever we're doing Opticon? So that's what I'm going to take you through now, because when I first started doing Opticon, it was very, very difficult for me. I must have went through it 6-7 times before I finally got it right. The first important step is to clean off your stone, because if there's anything left behind on the stone, dirt, whatever, it's going to make it a harder time for the Opticon to bond. So what you do is you clean off your stone with, you can either use acetone or alcohol. I use alcohol to clean it off, but yeah, whatever you want to use of those two is up to you. So you got your stone, you got your Opticon. This is Opticon resin number 224, and then you got your hardener, right? Now this is the new batch. This is still the old batch that I'm still working on. We got our little eyedroppers to help us measure it out properly. A pan with aluminum foil on it, and a small oven that you don't mind using only for stones. All right, and then one of these little things to hold it so you can mix it together. And then I have obviously other stones here that need to be Opticon. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with getting these with Opticon on them. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting these in the pan here. Make sure I got enough room for all the stones in the pan. It's a pretty big one, and we just have enough room. Try to stand down. There we go. We just have enough room. So I'm going to take my Opticon. This is where it gets messy, right? And I am going to pour my Opticon onto these stones. And some may say I'm using too much Opticon, and you may be right, but you know, it's better to use more than what you need than you use less than what you need, and you end up screwing up your stone, or it won't hold together during the cutting process. And what we're going to do is we're just going to rub that Opticon into there, all over the stone, get it nice and all over the stone. This one's got a little more. I'm going to go ahead and put some more on there. Now, we got it Opticon. I'm going to go ahead and finish and do all the rest. Fortunately, this is a pretty quick part. This is pretty easy, pretty quick. So, the good news is with Opticon, you're not actually turning the stone into resin. What you're doing is you're just making it hard enough to where it can withstand the process. You know what I mean? It can survive the cutting process, which is good. So you're still giving them the original stone. You're just making it to where it lasts longer. It's a little tougher, especially on knives as well. So it'll hold up better on knife handles and stuff like that, which is, you know, obviously we do that a lot. So there you go. So there's you are with the Opticon. I'm going to make sure I got everything covered like I want to. Right. Don't want it to beat up too much, but you're okay with it beating up some. All right, take the pan, and we're going to put it into an oven. And I believe the oven is 150 degrees right now off the top of my head is the temperature. And you're going to leave it in there for an hour, not more than an hour, an hour. Then you're going to come, take it out, right? And when these stones are still nice and warm, you're going to get a towel, dirty rag, something like that, and you're going to wipe them off completely dry, okay? So I'll see you back in here whenever we get these out of the oven. They've been cooking for an hour, and we can start working on them, okay? All right, everybody, so we're back in. The stones have been cooked. So let's go ahead and get these dried off completely. Now, whenever I say dried off completely, I don't mean somewhat dried off. I mean, we need to get these things dried off. So I'll show you what it looks like after we're done. But it's got enough fill in those cracks, those crevices, anything that would tend to break. And usually I don't do this with all of my stones. I will do this with stones that are very porous or might not survive a cutting. So like this amethyst here, you can see lines throughout the stone, and that'll fill it in and kind of help it hold it together. And also it'll help it for when it's a knife, which we should hopefully be doing this week. So that's good too. But I feel good enough to touch it now with my bare hand because we've gotten a lot of that stuff wiped off. And we'll just repeat the process. Now, this one isn't very porous or cracked, this lapis lazuli, but what it is going to be is going into a knife. So I definitely want it to have some bounce back, if you get what I mean. Be able to hold up to everything. So let's go ahead and get the rest of these dried off, and then we will come back whenever they are. All right, so we're back. We got these dried. Now we kind of want to wipe just a little bit of this up in the tin here, and it'll just kind of help whenever we do put this stuff back in the oven to cook just a tiny bit longer, to help it harden a little quicker. That way it doesn't throw off our mixture. Because what we're going to do now is we're going to mix our Opticon and hardener together. Now, recommended is, I think, going to 12, if I remember correctly. 1 part to 10 parts, and that's actually what we're going to do. But first, I poured Opticon in to a separate little container. Right? And I'm actually going to measure it out and count it. Now I'm only going to count about 1.5 for this. Those 2 squeezes, because that's what I got. And as you do more, the beaker will fill up more. But we're going to keep pouring it in there. 10. So with 10, I would put 1 full beaker of the hardener in. We're going to go to 20 since we got quite a bit of stone to cover. So now that we got all that, we need to get to our hardener. If we have any hardener left in here. We got some, not a lot. So we'll use whatever we can out of it. And I'll give 1 more for good luck, extra hardening. All right, so now what we want to do is we want to mix all this together. All right, so we got our toothpick here. We got the mixture. We're just going to mix it in as good as we can. And I'll be honest with you, my most important one right now is the amethyst, so it's going to get a better coating than everything else. That's nice and liquidy. We don't want it too thick. I may even pour a little bit in there. See if I can't get a little extra hardening going. If you like this video, then like and subscribe to the channel. We do other stuff like lapidary and some cool things with knives, and we're looking to do some future projects that we haven't done yet. So help the channel grow, like and subscribe. We'll get back to the video. All right, so we're back in. We've given them an hour to dry in the little makeshift oven. Now, I want to say this to clarify some things up for you before we move on. I would just buy the cheapest oven I can find at Walmart that would fit something like this. Definitely don't go using your own oven in your house that you cook with. Not very smart. Also, your wife will probably kill you if you try that, or you will probably learn to regret it. Okay, so do that, and always make sure to put that aluminum foil down, because if any of that stuff drops on that pan, it'll start smoking and smelling terrible and stuff like that. But let's go ahead and get to this. Now, when it comes to these stones, they're going to attach to the aluminum foil. But at least you know you got it. All right. As you can see, the epoxy actually works. The aluminum foil is right there attached to the daggum epoxy. But it has made our stone quite literally stronger. It's definitely harder. You can even see on the back, it's harder there. It's got that extra layer of epoxy. So we'll be able to cut this and make this into knife handles, and it's going to be able to stand at least a little bit more than what the amethyst usually would. And you can also see in here that those little cracks and crevices where it's cracked through has been filled in. So it gives us more, it'll hold it together better, basically. What you're going to do after this, you're just going to take them off the aluminum foil. You're going to wipe them down one more time, because it's going to be a little sticky, but it's not going to be like something you can't get off your fingers sticky. It's going to be, you know, you just wipe it down real quick and you're done. And then you're ready to go. You'll obviously have to get the aluminum foil off. I mean, if I usually just grind the aluminum foil off the back with my flat lap, or I can just peel it off, either way. So just let them finish drying overnight, right? And then next day you can start on your projects, wherever you plan on doing. I'm kind of excited to see how this turns out. I think it's going to turn out pretty good. That amethyst is really, in my personal opinion, I think this amethyst is going to turn out to be a great knife handle. So what we're going to do is we're going to call the video here. If this was helpful in any way, like, subscribe. It really does help us out. We're doing all kinds of weird and new stuff, but also doing some tutorials like this. So remember to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.